Crazy world, huh?
The last days.
Yeah.
No.
The last days, it's so.
And, I cannot even comment as much as I would like to, as you can imagine.
I do it. I'm already tired to make a commentary about that. It's everyone interested. What else? And what is the next? And your opinion. It's difficult to be
Diplomatic.
diplomatic. Yeah. It's.
Thank you.
And of course, when we start, there is a list of theses, but it's necessary always to prepare the idea of our discussion. But let's make it as a talk, as a discussion. If you want to add something to feel free. I mean, everybody, yes. So, because I don't want to ask the questions and answers. Yeah? Questions and answers. So it would be nice if we have a talk. It looks that we can start.
It's a crazy time. I was in Munich Security Conference, after to London, right now Brussels, and tonight back to Ukraine.
Where are you going tonight?
Back to Ukraine.
Back to Ukraine. So back to Warsaw, right? Or Rzeszów?
Munich and Rzeszów.
I mean, let's start, please.
I thought we were waiting for Warsaw.
No.
Okay, we started. Okay, recording in 5.
1, 2, 3, echo.
Maciej Zakrocki, dobry wieczór. Po raz czwarty Europejski Komitet Regionów przyznał nagrodę imienia Pawła Adamowicza, prezydenta Pawła Adamowicza. To nagroda za odwagę i doskonałość w krzewieniu wolności, solidarności i równości. Tegorocznym laureatem jest pan Witalij Kliczko, burmistrz Kijowa. O nagrodzie, sytuacji w Ukrainie i wojnie będę rozmawiał z gośćmi specjalnego wydania programu Oko na Świat, którymi są pani Magdalena Adamowicz, posłanka do Parlamentu Europejskiego, pan Rafał Trzaskowski, prezydent Warszawy, ale też członek Komitetu Regionów, no i pan Witalij Kliczko, burmistrz Kijowa. So let's start with the explanation why the Committee of Region decided to give this award to Mayor Kliczko.
Well, Paweł Adamowicz was an example to us all, how to behave as a mayor, how to help others, how to show solidarity. And of course, this very award is for courage, for excellence, for promotion of freedom and solidarity. And I would say especially in times of adversity, because that's exactly what Paweł Adamowicz was doing throughout the last years of his life, and that's exactly what Witalij is doing for the past 3 years and before as well. I mean, I don't have to convince anyone that in times of a Russian attack, Witalij showed courage to us all, how to behave, how to take responsibility for his citizens and how to make them secure in some of the most difficult and dire circumstances that one can imagine. And now, after 3 years, we know what happened. But in the first hours, the first days, no one knew what will happen in Kiev. Kiev might have fallen if it weren't for the brave people of Ukraine. So it really took guts, it really took courage, it really took excellence to be able to show by own example how to deal with such difficult circumstances and how to protect the people and show this incredible solidarity in times of distress. So I think that there's no one better suited to receive that award but Vitaly.
What kind of experience from your husband's work is useful in any place and in so unbelievable circumstances like we have in Kiev, in whole Ukraine?
Well, my husband always liked the saying, whoever saves one life, save the entire world. So he has got this approach, and for him it was always important in time, and especially in time of peace and in time of war. My husband was a mayor for more than 20 years, and people re-elected him, respected him. Some people even loved him. And his approach as being a mayor was not only to build roads and sidewalks, because this is like administrator. For him, being a real mayor was to be leader for the community, to support community, to be with the people and to build so-called responsibility between the citizens. And Vitaly is such a true mayor who keeps the people together, who is fighting for freedom in Kiev.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, congratulations. But on the other hand, how do you feel getting this award, having in mind who was the Pavel Adamovich?
Magdalena, Rafael, thank you for good words. But it's a big privilege to be here in Brussels, capital of Europe, to receive this very prestigious award. But award not for me personally. Actually, Ukrainian people surprise whole world. It's not secret. All experts in the world give to Ukrainian people a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks against one of the strongest army in the world, Russian army. And in this period of time, Ukrainian people show will to win, to defend city, to defend family, to defend country. And this award for the people who actually fighting for his European future. Because everyone have to understand the reason of this war. We want to be as Poland part of European family. We don't want back to USSR. We don't want to be part of Russian Empire. And we're fighting for our freedom, for our democracy. And as fighting Pavel Adamovich for in his lives, exactly the same do it right now a lot of mayors in Ukraine. I want to remind the self-government is the base for democracy in every democratic country. And from beginning of the war, our mayors, Ukrainian mayors, give everything to help military forces, to give the services to people, and Russians kidnap 55 mayors. Russians killed 5 mayors. And to be the mayor is huge responsibility for your community, and it's very important to show leadership for everyone, and it's very important to be unbroken. And that's why I'm very proud to be Ukrainian, and we actually 3 years successfully defend our homeland against one of the biggest and strongest army in the world, Russian army. And that's why I bring this award to our community, to our people, and from everyone depend our future. And rule of law, no fight, no win. And we're fighting for the same values, European values, and want to be as Poland part of European family as a democratic country.
I can imagine that on one hand, of course, we know a lot about the bravery, courage of your citizens. But on the other hand, we know that during such difficult times, people are looking for the leader. So how can you manage this war situation in the city? What have you done that people trust you, that under your work in Kiev, it's easier for them to survive?
Actually, to be the mayor of city is very thankful job. You promising, you delivering, and change by yourself life of the people, give the services, and people very appreciate for that. But during the war, we have a lot of challenges. I never ever expect this will be so difficult. This will be painful. I have a lot of stories. When you stay, if the building destroyed from missiles, and you listen the voices under the building, and you can help to the people, and they died. It's difficult to see. And in my mission, I have a couple of functions which I headed to give the medals to parents for children who give the biggest prize, his lives, or to visiting hospitals, to support the people and to talk to people, these children, 22, 25 years old, no legs, no arms, no eyes. And it's very important to help them, to help everyone. It's not easy function, but it's very important to be strong and very important to pay attention for everyone and fix all challenges what we have right now in Ukraine. And we have a dream this year, 25 will be a year when we bring the peace back to Ukraine, bring the peace back to Europe.
Everybody wants to say finger crossed, but on the other hand, last week shows that the situation is complicating. It's very dangerous that the first discussion about the end of the war are without Ukraine and representation of Europe. Just question to you, because we are saying we must be, Europe must be by the table. But can you tell us, can you imagine exactly who? European Union, the leaders of the EU institutions, who?
Well, we cannot bring a peace without Ukraine, as Vitaly said. Well, we have a council, we have our representatives in European Commission. So they are people who can talk and who can sit on the table together with all the parties that are interested in this. So for sure, we cannot let that Ukraine and Europe is not being respected, it's not being heard, and it's not taking into consideration while talking about peace in Ukraine.
Observing what's going on, do you believe that we can do it?
Well, I mean, the most important thing is, I agree 100%, is nothing can be done without Ukraine. That I cannot envisage a situation in which there would be peace above the heads of the Ukrainians. Now we are watching the preliminary talks, but at the end of the day, of course, Ukraine has to sit at the table, and I hope that everything will be decided according to also the wishes of the Ukrainians. I think that no one can afford a solution in which Putin would present the end of this war as his own success, because that would weaken Europe, it would weaken Poland, but it would also weaken the United States of America. So I hope that at the end of these talks, if there is peace, I mean, the peace will be on the conditions that are accepted by Ukraine. And at the end of the day, one has also to remember that, of course, it is the United States of America which was helping Ukraine militarily and also financially. But we in Europe, we have been taking taking that very seriously as well. Poland was helping Ukraine and is helping Ukraine both militarily, financially, but also by hosting millions of refugees, and other European countries also were helping at that particular time. Some maybe not as much as they should have, but I mean the contribution was very, very considerable. And if we look into the future, it would be very, very difficult, if not impossible, to envisage a situation in which peace can be really guaranteed, Ukraine can be rebuilt without a European perspective and without the European Union being involved.
But do you believe in that, in such a final as Mr. Trzaskowski described? I'm asking just one day after Donald Trump called the Ukrainian president a dictator without elections and accused Ukraine to start that war.
Everyone in the world know who started the war 2022. Everyone. The reason of this war I just explained. And everyone in Europe have to understand we defend not just our country, we defend not just our families, our children, we defend our future, and we defend every one of you, because Putin goes so far as far we're allowed to go. And about election, right now a lot of discussion about that. My personal opinion, during the war, when more than 10 million Ukrainians right now outside of the country, around 10 million replaced people inside the country, a lot of people right now on the front line, and to make political campaign, election during the war can destroy the country from inside. It's a very difficult question, and that's why I'm more than sure we have to sit together in round table with our European partners, with the United States, with Russia, and find solution. And very important 2 points: never lose our national interest, first point, and second, every peace. Very important to have a guarantee for a long time, because we have bad experience with Budapest Agreement when we give up our nuclear weapons, and the United States and Russia give to us guarantee our territorial integrity and independency, and what yet? And that's why it's very important. National interest and safety guarantee for Ukraine for a long period of time. If not NATO, let's discuss which one.
Yeah.
Ms. Adamowicz, I'm giving you the voice, but I was in Strasbourg during the plenary session, and then Ruslan Stefanchuk was invited also to Strasbourg. He had a very emotional speech, and he underlined once again that this war is not only the war for the independence of Ukraine, this is also the war for peace in Europe. He described that the Russian tanks are going west slowly, and they can even reach Strasbourg or Brussels. Do you believe that we understand that?
I mean, well, maybe we in Poland understand it better, because we can observe we have many refugees from Ukraine. And if not, well, Ukrainians were fighting, then probably our neighbor would be Russia, not Ukraine, because they will move. So I think we feel the situation, and many European country does. But what Trump said, coming back to your previous question, is really immoral and false. So we know that Trump started the war. We know that he's a war criminal, and the situation could be similar. That we can say that Poland started the war against Germany and Russia in 1939. So we cannot accept it. We cannot. We have to fight with all the false straight away, and we have to think about NATO to be somehow independent here in Europe, more independent from the state, because we cannot now count on United States.
This is very important because when Mr. Klitschko says that we got the security guarantees and the territorial integrity guarantees by the Budapest Memorandum, so-called, what we can think about the future guarantees when after it was in 1994, yeah, 30 years, those countries who signed that agreement, they are saying, but we don't care. So how can we believe in the international order, in your opinion, when this discussion talks about the future of Ukraine and the peace there is discussed?
Well, first of all, I always start to ask myself a question what we can do. I mean, the most important thing is that we need to take responsibility for the security. We are doing it in Poland. We are taking responsibility for our security. We are taking responsibility for Europe's security. Now, others in Europe are not doing it to the sufficient degree. I mean, let's be honest about it. And by the way, I mean, some people are listening to what Trump is saying. I mean, that was his original message, that Europe needs to take more responsibility. Once we do it, and I think that now everyone is convinced that we need to do it together. I mean, it is absolutely absurd that the Germans are spending 2% of their GDP, the richest country in the European Union, and we spend 5%. So we need to show the effort. We need to show responsibility as the European Union. And then I think we can talk about how to provide security guarantees. NATO is the best security guarantee that we can come up with. But I mean, first we need to show to our American partners and to everyone who cares to listen that we are in Europe as serious as Poland is when it comes to providing security. And I cannot envisage a situation in which this war would end without providing any security to Ukraine. I mean, everyone who knows history, everyone who knows Putin will know that, I mean, if this war stops in a way in which he will understand it as his own victory and there will be no sufficient guarantees for Ukraine, he would not stop. I mean, he's going to rearm and hit again. The question is only when. So this is in our security's interest. And of course, it's also in the interest of the stability, not only of the whole continent, but of the world, because everyone is watching how this conflict will end. And if it ends on a note that the West and the United States is perceived by our enemies as weak, the consequences will unfortunately come sooner than later. And that's why we have to demonstrate that at the end of the day, if we are to fight the people who are breaking international law, who are murderers and so on and so forth, we and the United States have to stand together, arm in arm. That's what history teaches us.
But on the other hand, I'm not so optimistic because Donald Trump is talking to Vladimir Putin, who is accused of the war crimes. And this is true. So how can we imagine the discussion or talks with Russia about the peace, having Putin in Kremlin and knowing very well that he is a war criminal?
I totally support what say Rafael right now. It's very important safety and guarantee, because without guarantee, this war can be daily problem in Europe. It's nobody expect this war can be happens, but it right now is tragic reality in Ukraine. And that's why please never underestimate whole situation, what happens in Ukraine. And we need guarantee, and we need our partners around table together with Russia, and talking about safety and guarantee all together, not just for Ukraine, also for Europe.
But what kind of guarantees, if you can imagine them?
One of them, it's NATO membership, but it's a very difficult question. And we understand it's some member of NATO not ready to give the chance to Ukraine to be the member of NATO. It's task for all our partners, and not fair, to be honest, not fair to sit together without Ukraine, without European partners together with Russian Federation. Definitely, everyone is the problem for European continent and for whole European Union, and representative of European country have to be in the round table. United States and Ukraine, definitely. Nothing about
Ukraine.
we have to talk Ukraine always have to be in this meeting because nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine.
Yeah. A democratic and safe Ukraine and developing Ukraine is in the highest interest not only for Poland but for Europe, yes? So we all have to support the help to Ukraine and really strengthen it. I mean, there was some time that people maybe in Poland were a little bit tired when they hear about the war in Ukraine. But I mean, okay, and some nationalistics, well, let's say nationalistics idea were spread just to divide our society. Yes, it kind of disinformation, but we have to admit that those Ukrainians who are fighting, they fight not only for Ukraine, as it was said here, but they fight for our peace for Poland, for the whole Europe.
So maybe the last point, it was mentioned the US administration refuses Ukraine the prospect of NATO membership, but the Polish presidency, one of the points in our schedule is to start the membership negotiations of Ukraine. I know that it's not the same as a NATO membership as a security guarantee, but anyway, membership in the European Union also keeps the countries on the western side. So do you believe that this idea to start at least the first cluster of these negotiations is a good one?
I mean, for years, the United States of America was one of the guarantors of peace in Europe, and we were all fighting for it to stay the same. And we have to be convincing our American partners that for the sake of the stability of Europe and for the sake of the stability of the world, they need to continue their involvement in Europe. But of course, that means that, as I've said, we have to take responsibility. We are doing it in Poland, others have to do the same. And I think that ultimately, it's very difficult to envisage a possibility of guaranteeing Ukraine credible peace without the Americans. That's why we need to talk to them. We need to convince them that it is in their interest as well. And when it comes to the membership in the European Union, we all want Ukraine to become a member of the European Union. But of course, we also know, because we've been negotiating for years, how difficult that process is.
Mm-hmm. In your opinion, this idea to open the first cluster is important at this moment?
One of the biggest countries in Europe with instability can bring instability in the whole region. That's why Europe is interested to have Ukraine strong and stable, and to be Ukraine democratic country, European country. And I'm more than sure with strong Ukraine, European Union will be much stronger. And that's why the unity around Ukraine is the key for peace and freedom in Europe. It's very important. Please, my message right now here in Brussels to every politician: stay together with Ukraine. Together we are times stronger. It's very important.
Yeah, and this is important, and this is an important message and should be repeated very often. But now I have to thank you for this meeting and for this discussion. Magdalena Adamowicz, posłanka do Parlamentu Europejskiego, Rafał Trzaskowski, prezydent Warszawy, członek Komitetu Regionów, Witalij Kliczkow, burmistrz Kijowa był z nami. Dziękuję bardzo. To tyle ze studia telewizyjnego w Parlamencie Europejskim w Brukseli. Maciej Zakrowski, dobrej nocy. In 5 minutes or 4 minutes, you'll start the ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to go.
Yeah, but leave the mics, please.
We will.